Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
A very good morning to you. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Let's start you off with the news making the rounds from this part of the world. Of course, start the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Of course, they're battle ready. All the players in camp. The vibes coming from the players and the coaching crew is that the players want to win the game tomorrow at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium.
We're waiting and hoping that the Super Eagles can get this one out of the way. Talking about picking 3 points, and that's what the players, all of them have been saying, that they are battle ready and also hungry to hit the pitch. Also on the program, where Finland, they stunned world champions Spain in an international friendly, but then it was a remarkable victory for these youngsters you're seeing right there on the screen. Two players that made their debut on the night, Marcus Forss and Oni Valankari, both scored a goal, and both 21-year-old players beating France by 2-0 in an international friendly.
All right, world champions stunned by Finland. A lot of us didn't see that happening. We'll talk about international friendlies later on the show and possibly hear from the coach. Let's talk about sporting icon, well-known, well-respected football figure, Diego Armando Maradona. He's been discharged from the hospital in Argentina, and he continues the next phase of his rehabilitation, hoping the football legend will get over all of this and go back to what we used to know him to be. But that's Diego Maradona. The news that a lot of people wanted to hear is out of the hospital and he enters into the next stage of his rehabilitation.
And which is recovery clinic, where he can be treated for alcohol dependency. That's what the doctor told reporters when he was discharged from the hospital. All right, we'll start the show up with what is going to happen at the Olympics next year. And of course, players, athletes that will be arriving at the Olympic Village will not quarantine, which is good news.
Yeah, it is. It is. But the decision about spectators is yet to be made. The 2020 games delayed by a year because of the novel coronavirus and a costly postponement. But a lot of things have happened behind the scenes. The news of a vaccine that might likely be in play by the time the Olympics is here. So they've seen that there are a lot of measures that will be taken. So, I mean, testing the athletes 72 hours before the competition, you know, so they feel the athletes who need that 14 days
isolation,
quarantine before they enter into Tokyo.
Yeah, that's a big news coming from the organizers this morning, talking about the fact that, look, athletes that will be coming in, they will not isolate themselves from, from everywhere, because, as you mentioned, they will be tested 72 hours before their arrival in Japan. And once they're there, they don't need to isolate. They can decide to start training and everything. So it's good news, because that 14 days, you're looking at it and you're wondering, how do they stay put for that? So, and we know that Olympic Committee president talking about Thomas Bach. He's in Japan on a 3-day visit, and they've been talking about the different things, different issues that they're facing and all that, things to be ironed out, details of the coronavirus, countermeasures, all of them will be ironed out and everything, which is really a good one. So for athletes coming into Tokyo, so it's good news for all of them. They won't have to isolate for the required 14 days on arrival in Tokyo. Okay, staying with Tokyo right now, Thomas Bach has received a whole lot of good news.
Yeah.
The number one good news is the fact that, okay, we talked about the fact that, NBA players have agreed when the season will start December 22nd, and of course the owners and all of them have to come together. They'll have to cut short their season so that athletes will be able to take part at the Olympics.
Global stars playing in the NBA, representing different countries.
Of course.
And, there have been cases where there's been some sort of a boycott, either because
the season is just being over,
or there's
and
political reason or whatever. But in this case, the NBA, for the sake of the Olympics, all the critical stakeholders agreed and said, you know what, let's have a season that's a bit short, so that all the guys in the US team, the guys, all across, will sporting what we have the opportunity to see them represent their country at the biggest sporting event in the world.
Nothing bigger than the Olympics. Well, let's listen to Thomas Bach breaking that good news and saying that he's really happy after receiving the news from the NBA organizers.
The owners of the NBA teams have agreed there with the Players Association on an early and shortened NBA season starting on 22nd of December. This will allow the best basketball players of the world to play at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. This is what the players want. This is what the Olympic movement wants, and this is what many NOCs, of course, the qualified NOCs in basketball want very much. So it's excellent news and shows the excellent cooperation that we enjoy between the IOC, NBA, and FIBA, and which is ongoing in this way already for a couple of years.
Great news there. Thomas Bach all smiling, knowing that all the superstars from the NBA will be playing in their various countries during the Olympic Games. Okay, staying with the NBA, but leaving the Olympics outside of this one. OKC, talking about Oklahoma City Thunder. For them, they have a new coach. They've appointed Mark Denner as their head coach. He was actually promoted from assistant manager to head coach. And for this man, he's replacing, Billy Donovan. And so he stepped up his role from as an assistant coach to Chicago Bulls, to coach Oklahoma City Thunder. And of course, this is going to be a good one for him because, I mean, when you have Billy Donovan leaving after 5 seasons in charge, because they failed to actually reach the second round of the playoffs. I mean, for the 4th consecutive season, they exit the playoffs in the first round. So it wasn't a good one for Billy Donovan. He had to leave. And of course, for this young man, talking about Mark Denner, this is going to be his really first big job. He's just 35, so he becomes the 4th head coach in the team history. So he first joined the Thunder as head coach. That's the NBA G League affiliate, the Oklahoma City Blue in 2014 before, he was added to their coaching staff in 2019.
For someone who's just 35,
yes,
you begin to look at his resume, and it's a good resume. He lands his first big gig at OKC, and there are rumors that some top players might be on their way to OKC as well. So I think it's going to be good. We'll see how far he can go with this team. But I mean, he's not short on the experience required. And we'll see if he can cut it with the big boys.
Yeah, that's the thing. But he had 5 seasons as the head coach of the Blue. That's talking about G League, Oklahoma City, other team. He amassed about 143 points, 143 games in 107. That's the record he had, leading them to 3 consecutive division titles and 4 playoff appearances. That's the G League. But this is the NBA, the bigger one. So we'll see how well he will be able to take the OKC to a greater height.
All right, so we're done with that. Cecilia, I think it's time to go to golf. We're done with the NBA. Let's talk about the Masters, the usual suspects, the guys we're talking about. Let's start with Rory McIlroy. We'll listen to Phil later. But for Rory McIlroy, on his plate is just getting that Grand Slam, completing the golf Grand Slam.
Yeah, his confidence is high right now, right? One day he says he's going to win it. And the other players who didn't win it, likes of Greg Norman, Ineos, and all that, I said these are the big players.
He might just be the guy to benefit from all the delay, because he's saying, look, I'm feeling good. Even though a lot of these other top guys are going to be around, but I'm not perturbed. I think it might be my moment, and I might win.
He's been saying this thing for a long time now because he won the US Open 2011. Man, he won, the PGA Championship 2014, and of course British Open also in 2014. And the questions actually came that first in 2014. When are you going into the green jacket? That's what you need to complete that career Grand Slam. I mean, but then he says, look, time will come.
He says I have a date. Some people are asking, does he have a date with destiny? On the flip side, Phil Mickelson is the other guy saying, look, that I'm here, it's all that matters. You could say I'm not a favorite, but that I'm still in contention for the green jacket, because in golf, is as long as you are on the field, as long as you are a contender.
Just get past the first 3 days, and then you
and
see you're still there.
You never can tell what will happen. Let's listen to Rory McIlroy and Phil Mickelson, both of them, their take on the Masters.
I've always felt like I've had the game to do well around here and to play well. It's just a matter of, getting out of my own way and letting it happen. But as I said, it's, you have to go out and earn it. You can't just rely on people saying that you're going to win one, and Greg Norman never did, Ernie Els never did. There's a lot of great people that have played this game that have never won a green jacket. So, it's not a foregone conclusion, and I know that. So, I have to go out and earn it and play good golf. And I think nowadays with how many great players there are, I need to play my very best golf to have a chance.
There's something very spiritual about this place as a golfer, and to have won this tournament means a lot to me. I can't believe it's been 10 years since I won it last. I would love nothing more than to have an opportunity to be in contention, and that's my goal. I'm not going into this event thinking about winning. I'm going into this event trying to get into contention for the weekend and then hopefully take it from there.
Get into contention into the weekend. That's what is important.
Oh, Phil. There's something age does to you.
Yeah.
The calmness that it gives to you.
Yeah.
As they look, I'm not. He wants to win, obviously, but that's not what I'm thinking about. I just want to still be in the mix, and if I'm still in the mix after a few rounds, I might just go on and win. And Ferrari will see whether or not this is going to be the time. It's going to, achieve what has been his main goal. It's have that golf Grand Slam. Whether or not it's going to be. There are other guys there as well.
Justin Johnson,
Gary Palmer.
Justin Thomas.
A lot of those other guys who are the usual suspects. But we'll see what happens. But I know it's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be interesting, but we know the favorite to win it is actually Bryson DeChambeau. All eyes are obviously on him right now, the big hitter on the course presently. But then when you have, as you mentioned, Phil Mickelson, you have Rory McIlroy, who is saying that maybe one day we'll have to cross that hurdle and win the green jacket. We'll wait to keep our fingers crossed. Of course, by Sunday night or early hours of Monday morning, we should know who will be taking the green jacket from Tiger Woods, or if Tiger Woods will definitely earn it, because he says he needs to earn it. And with knowing Augusta very well, knowing the Augusta National course very well, he can never miss knowing where to put, the ball.
The experience surely will count in his favor.
Okay, it starts today, right? All right, let's go to Saudi Arabia. Yesterday we mentioned that, yes, we have a Nigerian star talking about Georgia Obo that is taking part in the ladies' European tour. Saudi Arabia hosting this tournament for the very first time. And of course, we talked about the first Arab lady who's actually taking part in this tournament, also happy about that. But then Georgia Obo, her target for this is to the top 10 finish. It begins today. Tee-off started already, but then she'll be hoping to finish among the top 10. But when you have a field of about 108 professional lady golfers, but the players who have won, big titles, playing in the LPGA tour and everything, so it's going to be like a difficult, course for her to really navigate. Yeah,
I agree. But I like what I've been hearing from her. You have to set targets for yourself. And, she says, look, I'm here. I know that I'm playing against a lot of it, like you said, a lot of the top players, top stars. But I've set a target for myself. I want to drive myself. And when I hear young, talented sportsmen and women say those things, you know that, look, there's something that is driving them. And I'm very happy with Georgia, I don't want to sound like a broken record because, every time I talk about her, I probably say the same thing, so I don't want to repeat all the things I've said before. But just to say, I like the drive, I like the ambition, and you just have to keep pushing yourself. You don't have to set limits. You don't have to think, oh, these guys are better than me anyway. So if I finish below 20, nobody's going to question me. All of these girls they've played in the LPGA, they've played all around. So, I've got nothing to lose, They will say, he who is down fears no fall. But that's not the attitude she's bringing into this. That's why I'm excited. And there's obviously, there's the added incentive that she's a Nigerian, which also makes me want to focus more on her to see how far she can go. And we keep monitoring her career. And I'm just hoping that this mark that she has set, she's able. It's a win for me if she actually makes it to the top 10 in this event. It's a win for me. If she doesn't, well, I'll look at the overall performance. But I like what I'm hearing from her.
I love it too. But let's hear from her right now.
I have been able to see the course and practice here now for the past few days in preparation for play starting on Thursday. I can say that my preparations have gone quite well. I am setting the goal of a top 10 finish. I am competing against a world-class field, but I do feel that I have the experience and skill to place high on the leaderboard, and this will just be a stepping stone to greater things in the future.
A stepping stone for her to obviously want to, break or set other records. She's been setting in Africa and also in Nigeria. So we're waiting, fingers crossed, to see what she'll be able to do in Saudi Arabia at the European Ladies Tour starting today. All right, leaving golf now, let's go straight to the legend himself. I mean, he's been released from the hospital, what we've been waiting for and anticipating. Every day fans usually go to that hospital and just, keep vigil and just watching when are we going to have our legend back. But the thing is, he's been released from the hospital and he's gone into recovery clinic where he will, be treated for alcohol dependence. Diego Maradona, there's a whole lot of stories, concerning his health and all that. But the good news is the blood clot was found on time. And so it was, released from the hospital. So he was just, the alcohol dependence, that's what his doctor told reporters that he will now be treated for. That's the ambulance leaving the hospital, just going to a rehabilitation clinic.
Look at the amount of reporters, look at the number, rather, of reporters waiting, keeping vigil with the fans, players from gymnasia, Argentines and people all over the world.
He's their coach.
All over the world. And look, we can't overemphasize the fact that this is a global sporting icon.
Yeah.
The other time we're talking about the president of Colombia leaving all of his political troubles to talk about Maradona. It just shows you how big this has been. And of course, he's headed to a rehabilitation facility in Buenos Aires, and we hope that it will get well. All of his issues have been well documented.
Yeah.
But what you cannot take away from Diego Armando Maradona is that he's a fighter. And even the doctors are amazed at how well he has responded to the surgery, the treatments, and, this alcohol dependency, we'll see. All the withdrawal symptoms that he's been dealing with, we'll see how he can, get above all of those things and, live his normal life.
Obviously.
For some of us who saw him in his prime and see him now, sometimes you feel troubled.
Yes.
You look at him, what has happened?
He's 60. He's 60 now.
But he keeps overcoming all of those things.
Yeah. But all he needs to do is just to be careful,
Keep
take
your
care of
head
your
down.
body. Just take care of your body. It's your body, take care of it. Because he was actually kept longer than expected, because of the withdrawal syndrome, withdrawal symptoms, caused by, of course, the, being absent from alcohol, while he was in the hospital and all that. So that's the news you want to hear when you're talking about Diego Maradona. And the news you want to hear is what he's doing with his new club that he's currently coaching, Gimezia. That's the story you want to hear.
Even at some point, there were talks about him probably coming back to the Argentina fold, or going back to some of the clubs that he's played for. Some of those guys know that he may not be the best coach, but they know the following.
Yes, of course.
Maradona is associated with the attention, and some of them, if they're not doing well on the field, but that attention itself, it brings a lot. So I want him to get back. Probably we'll see him with probably Newell Old Boys or any of those other clubs that he's played for. And,
well, let this problem be over first, right?
Yeah, sure. It has to be.
Okay. All right. Okay, hear me? Yeah. All right, we need to go on a break now. We'll come back. We'll be talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Of course, updates coming from the National Sport Festival that will be taking place in Benin City in December. Welcome back. You guys can talk to us on our Twitter handle what you think. Super Eagles of Nigeria will be up against Sierra Leone on Friday. And all the players right now in camp, we're afraid that maybe some players will not be in. But we know that all the players, 23 players, they are all in camp, except the ones that got injured and pulled out. But then you have their replacement, everyone, Danny Akpeyin, Victor Osimhen, yes, the one everyone has been waiting for. All of them trained, 23 players trained, last night at the stadium in Benin City, Samuel Ogbemide Stadium. So the players are ready to go to hit the pitch. What do you think? What would be the good scoreline for you guys, man? 2-1, 3-1. So prediction starts right now until we play the game on Friday evening. Okay, but then we have a guest in the studio. We have Ayomikun Elemiko, right? Okay, you know what? I have a cousin, who happens to be Ayomiko. He was trouble. Who shares the name? So,
this young man,
it comes to mind.
I'm not troublesome.
Okay, you're not. You're sure about that, right? He's trouble. That's his second name. So I ended up calling my Ayomiko trouble. So that was what came to my ears. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. So it's good to have you. Yes. Before we talk about football, let's quickly take out some sporting stories out of the way. So let's quickly start with the sports festival. Let's talk about the event's going to be in phases because of the times we're in. So let's just show that to you. Phase 1, phase 2, the events in phase 1, events in phase 2, the events that will overlap between phase 1 and phase 2, and the timing when phase 1 ends. The athletes will have to go so that the ones that will take part in phase 2 will come. So 17 sporting events for phase 1. Let me run through this quickly. Abula, badminton, boxing, chess, cycling, darts, judo, karate, kickboxing, and cocoa. That's 10. We'll flip quickly. And you have
15 sports in phase 2.
Yeah, but these are still in phase 1. Kung Fu, rugby, Scrabble, squash, swimming, taekwondo, and tennis. Cecilia, all of this for the National Sports Festival in phase 1. In phase 2, athletics, deaf athletics, para-athletics, ayo, beach volleyball, dancing, golf, gymnastics, langa, deaf table tennis, and you also have para-table tennis, table tennis, para-powerlifting, weightlifting, and wrestling. Cecilia, let's take a look at the ones that we overlap quickly.
Yeah, you have basketball, cricket, football, handball, hockey, and outdoor volleyball. The reason for this is a team sport, team event, so it won't end. You can't have a phase 1 or phase 2. It's going to end, it won't end within the phase, so that's why it's overlapping. So you're going to be having basketball starting from the beginning, of course, till the very end. Team sports, that's usually before the closing ceremony. They want to present medal and celebrate and all that. That's why the team sport overlapping. But phase 1 will be starting from December 5th to 10th for 6 days, and rest days on the 11th of December. That's when they will leave after that. So for athletes from phase 1 to go back home and allow athletes for phase 2 to start coming in on same day, while phase 2 will start December 12 to 17. So I love the way they've done it. They don't want to have too many athletes at the same time in camp. And that's why they are trying to do it in phases, which is really a remarkable one and a good one. Hopefully we'll have the best sport festival ever.
And just to quickly say that December 18 will be closing ceremony. And I want to get your thoughts. I don't think we've spoken last time we didn't speak about the National Sports Festival, but I don't know your thoughts about how everything has been put into phases, especially because of the times we're in.
Of course, we know that because of the COVID-19 issue and all of that, the National Sports Festival had to be moved and all of that, and now we are having it in phases. I understand that the organizers are trying to do that just to ensure that we still, for safety, we still abide by the COVID-19 regulations and guidelines and all of that. And then I saw some activities there, like Ayo, Abula, Langa, and the likes. I remember when I was much, when I was much younger, seeing these old men play Ayo and all of that. I think it's very good that we are encouraging indigenous activities like this, incorporating it to the National Sports Festival. And it's a very good one. And it also gives more opportunities for people to win medals, for states to win medals, and all of that.
I agree with you. I agree with you. All right, so that's...
I don't know if you can put more light on Abula. I mean, some people just want to know what that's all about.
To be honest, I don't really know much about it. I have to be honest. I know a little about some of the others, and Cecilia has thrown the challenge. So when next I come here, I'll tell you all I know about it, because most of the time we see that sport and we wonder, what are the things they do in there. All right, let's quickly go to handball. Let's switch quickly. Talk about handball on the show this morning and give you, day 12 was yesterday, give you some of the results from yesterday. Men's category, few games were played. Let's see if we can bring that to you quickly. A lot of interesting results. We saw safety shoot. Okay, that's it on your screen. Plateau Vipers. They lost to the defenders. Confluence, that's 29 points to 33. Confluence Stars also lost 23 points to 29. Safety Shooters won. Delta Force lost to Niger United 25 points to 34. Rima Strikers defeated Chief of Army Staff Shooters 40 points to 31. And Amiku, let me just allow you to say something. Handball, the first sport to stage a return after the restrictions lifted. And they've got us talking. What everybody has been commenting about is the ease at which you can get information. And that's what I like about this competition currently going on. You are not left in doubt. Information is at your fingertips.
Yes, very good one for the Handball Federation of Nigeria. The organizers have done fantastically well. I remember last time out when I was here, that was last week. We didn't discuss it, but you discussed it with Austin.
Okay.
Austin and
Austin, yeah,
yes.
okay.
And the progress that is being made this match day 12, and I think it's very, very, very impressive for the handball. Well, looking at the score lines, what's just making me laugh now is how would the, with all due respect to Rima Strikers, how would the Chief of Army Staff lose to the Rima Strikers by such margin? But it's a good one, and I hope that this competition continues, and then we, like you said, the ease of information and all of that. I hope they keep it up.
Keep it that way.
We get to enjoy them more.
All right.
Which is good. You're talking about Chief of Staff. Okay, maybe because of the name, but Kano Pillars, defending champions, lost yesterday. So, I mean, it's like that. It's a league game, it's a marathon, so it's not a sprint. So, it's how you finish in the end. That's what's important. So, let's move over for the women, right?
No, just the guys.
Okay, just the guys you have for today. Okay, yeah, I know what you're trying to do there. But you're going to tell me about Abula. That's about putting you on the spot before we leave this show. Okay. But then let's leave this one and quickly go to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I mean, the game will be, well, on Friday, so it's almost here. That's the first game Nigeria will be playing after more than a year. They haven't played in a long time. We'll be waiting and anticipating. Finally, the Eagles are home and they're in Benin City. Most of the players they were talking about, okay, Victor Osimhen, for instance, he's from there. Ahmed Musa, the mom is from there. We're like, okay, would have loved to see our people around, but then COVID-19, yes, they can't have it because for safety precautionary measures and all that. Although we know that in Edo State, they haven't recorded recently any cases. Recently, we haven't seen that, from, the NCDC. So we haven't seen that recently. So, but then the Eagles, all the players trained last night. All of them trained. And so, I mean, the coaches, the players have been talking this morning about, how ready they are. I'm talking about Joseph Aribo and also Victor Osimhen. These are the guys that everyone is looking forward to actually give us the goals on the day. Well, before we get reaction from you, Ayomiko, let's listen to Victor Osimhen and Joe Aribo talking ahead of the game on Friday.
Really a good feeling to be back with the squad, and I'm really happy, and I think the squad is ready to go on Friday. Nothing but victory, but to be realistic, the game will never be easy, and it will not be easy, so we have to prepare well, and which we have been doing. And it's also good for me to be back in the squad, and I think we are all ready, and we will give our all for this win. For me, it's kind of like disappointing, but we understand the COVID situation, so it's important for us, I think, for them to support us from home and anywhere they are. But for their presence not to be felt in the stadium is kind of like disappointing, but we can understand the situation, but it's fine. For me, I think my goals will come, obviously, and but the team victory comes first and before my personal ambition. So I just want to help the team if I'm featured in this game, and I'm looking forward to the game.
Just my normal game. I bring energy. I want to play fast and just make it hard for my opponent and win the game, of course. Hopefully, by God's grace, that's the aim. I want to score goals every single game I play, but I mean, I just want to do all I can for the team to get the result that we can get.
Right, that's Joe Aribo. I mean, he's expecting to score, but if he cannot score, you have other players that can also score the goals. What do you think, Super Eagles against Sierra Leone, what should we be expecting from them, knowing that, yes, most of the players didn't arrive on time, because of logistics problems and all that?
Well, I still believe the players will be able to do justice to the game. Coincidentally, these two players that spoke just now scored over the weekend. Aribo scored twice for Rangers. Also, Osimhen scored the only goal for Napoli. And, of course, we have the firepower. The midfield is okay. And I love the way I'm seeing some of the new players in the team, the likes of Akpoguma, Zaid Yusuf, who impressed last time out. And, of course, we are seeing Etebo back in the squad, which is a very good one for the team. For Sierra Leone, I would just expect that the Super Eagles do not underrate this team. On paper, Sierra Leone can't match us when it comes to football. But with what we've seen so far with the Super Eagles, their recent matches, the energy and all, I think we should be able to prosecute this game well and beat Sierra Leone, even away from home.
It doesn't really matter that, there was really no time, for them to be together, to train together.
Maybe
for
just about 2 or 3
Yeah, the coach was expecting,
2 days of
remember when he spoke, he said, okay, expecting everyone to start training on Tuesday. But Tuesday, I mean, it was difficult because most of the players were not, and he trained with just 16 players on Tuesday evening. So, Wednesday, of course, morning, they trained with few players. Until evening, you have the full training. So it simply means full training session yesterday and this morning and this evening, and that would just be all.
Well, I understand some of these players have to travel long distance, and some of them might have something we call jet lag. It's very common with a lot of these players.
And even the restrictions they had to battle before they got in.
Yes, that's also kind of difficulty. But this is not the first time, maybe because of the peculiarity of the situation, the COVID-19 and all, but this is not the first time the Super Eagles players will not be training together, immediately.
Not having full 2 days. They didn't even have full a day and a half, right?
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't think not all of them did. A few of them arrived earlier, and we still saw some.
But we're talking about having 23 players training together.
But then,
they're professionals.
Yes, they're professionals. I believe they'll be able to beat Sierra Leone.
So there will be no room for...
There shouldn't be any excuse.
No excuse. Okay,
Okay. All right. They had a visitor yesterday. Very interesting session that they had. Some interesting discussions also brought to the fore because they had a visitor. Edo State Governor Obaseki paid a visit to the Super Eagles players, and he told them, pass across the message on behalf of Nigerians. Nigerians want you guys to win. That's basically what he said. And he also said consultations still going on. Maybe there might be a chance to get a couple of people in there. But let me not put words into his mouth. Let's allow you to listen to the governor of Edo State, Governor Obaseki, at the Super Eagles camp.
My message was one of encouragement that they should be upbeat. They should make sure that they do us proud on Friday and win the match. We're still in conversations with the authorities, both the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 and CAF. We will not want to breach the rules. We want to play by the rules. So we'll just wait and see if they would allow a few more officials watch live. If not, we'll watch it remotely and watch it via television. I'm sure after this experience, they'll come back.
All right. The governor, I love his smile, very infectious. But you heard him.
Yes.
He passed across the message from more than 200 million Nigerians want you to win. And that's just basically, whatever you do, just win.
Well, especially with the fact that the fans won't be at the stadium to see the match. So a lot of Nigerians will be hoping that, these guys should get the win. This match is in Nigeria. The last time the Super Eagles played was in Austria abroad. So, people were anticipating, are we going to be able to see this match and all of that until the announcement came, there will be no fans for
you
this
guys will be
match.
allowed.
So fans will be expecting, personally, I will be expecting that the Super Eagles go all out and win this match. Not just win the match, but
win
play,
well.
Yes, win well and play beautiful football.
Okay, what's on your menu? Good game, wide margin win. And,
maybe not wide margin.
Newcomers playing.
Yes, newcomers.
Can we have all of that three? Is it possible?
Well, it might be difficult. It's possible, but might be difficult because of the input of that wide margin.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because they are experienced players in the teams. They are new players in the team. So sometimes before the gel and all of that start winning, 4-5-0. It's been long I've seen the Super Eagles score 5 goals, 6 goals.
You're right. You're right.
So.
Okay, all right, so let's leave it at that for a while. Let's quickly, other African teams played yesterday, so let's just see if we can take a look at their results and also the ones that would play today. The big one, which involves Nigeria, is tomorrow, but let's see those who were in action yesterday, and of course, let's also talk about those who will get to play today. Yesterday, you had Guinea defeating Chad 1-0, Mauritania and Burundi was 1-1. That match was in Group E. You also have some other matches played yesterday as well. You have the Harambee Stars of Kenya played with Comoros Islands 1-1. Senegal did their business, 2-0 victory over Guinea-Bissau.
Sadio Mane.
And in that word. Then the last one, I allow Ayomiku to. At some point, it was 2-1 in favor of Libya. I thought. Although
what were you thinking?
I thought Equatorial Guinea scored first. Libya scored 2. So I thought, okay, well, you guys are at home. You should win. Then last time I checked, 3-2. Equatorial Guinea stunning the hosts.
Yes, Libya were up front, were ahead, and a very beautiful one from Equatorial Guinea. Sincerely, I wasn't expecting a win from them at all because
football pedigree. You guys are not even giving credit to Equatorial Guinea. Football pedigree. Equatorial Guinea have actually stopped us from going to the Nations Cup. Remember, so they played against Libya. When it comes to football, which country are you going to pick? You know, I'm not on paper.
Well, if
Equatorial Guinea, obviously,
the problems
so
Libya has had will make you say that. But
if Libya ever, I mean, how many times have they qualified for the Nations Cup?
Sicilian. Okay, all right. I don't want to go into that, but it was still surprising. Let's look at today. The games that we played today. By the way, that game was in Group G. So let's quickly look at today, matches that we played today. Of course, Uganda will take on South Sudan in Group B. You have Burkina Faso take on Malawi, also in Group B. We're talking about today's fixtures for the AFCON qualifiers. In Group D, Gabon and Gambia will try each other for size. Let's go to Group F. Cameroon and Mozambique in Group F. You have Cape Verde and Rwanda will also play. That's in Group F. Group H, Zambia takes on Botswana. Algeria takes on Zimbabwe. These are the games to expect today. Ayomiko, just in a minute. Hey, I mean, if you wanted to tell somebody, look out for any of these games, which one will it be?
It will be the games in Group B.
Okay.
Uganda against South Sudan. Uganda and Burkina Faso are actually top of their table, 4 points each.
Okay.
So if each of them get victories against both South Sudan and Malawi, that will be 7 points for them and put them in a very, very good position to qualify from the group. And also the match between Ghana and Sudan, well, I wouldn't want to give it a straight victory to Ghana because
disappointed us a couple of times.
Yeah, a couple of times. And Sudan too are not pushovers when it comes to this. So I'll be looking out for those matches.
Okay. That's interesting for the AFCON, and hopefully when we come back to talk about Nigeria, we're talking about a win that will be tomorrow. We need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, there's still so much for you on Sports this morning. All right, welcome back. We're done with Africa now, so let's talk international football. And guys, let's really go to the camp of England. Worrying signs, fixture congestion, fixture load. It's beginning to take a toll on the players. And Ayomiko, you're not surprised what happened. I think last week, Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, bitter rivals. But when it came to that issue, they were on the same page. And now, latest casualty in England, Joe Gomez, and Gareth Southgate has been talking about that. To set the tone, let's just listen to Gareth Southgate I mean, finally agreeing that, look, something has to be done. It's talking about the Gomez injury and the workload on those players.
I mean, I can't tell you how serious it is because he's yet to have scans. What was upsetting was to see he was in a fair bit of pain, and the fact was that there was nobody around him when the injury happened. So I didn't like that element of it. But we're just got to wait and see what the scans show, and we're all hopeful for him that it's not what it might be, but it's not a good situation. I don't see him being involved in the games with us, that's for sure. There are lots of discussions about extra subs and things like that, but the bigger picture here was that governing bodies, broader authorities, everybody within the game needs to work together. There was an opportunity. We have a Winter World Cup in 2 years. There was an opportunity this year to think differently. The pandemic has thrown up all sorts of difficulties for people, but everybody's tried to cram the programme into a smaller period, and nobody has given way, and people haven't collaborated enough.
All right, Gareth Southgate there. I mean, quickly, because we still have a lot of ground to cover, but I mean, I sympathize with him.
Same, yeah.
But the club coaches too probably be furious, right?
Shouldn't the sympathy go more to Jurgen Klopp, because Van Dijk already is out.
He's out.
So he's out already.
Problems.
So him not having him at the national team, of course, you always have other players to call
play,
up.
but for
the club.
It wasn't the situation.
It wasn't situations,
Yes,
especially when you didn't have your names, sent down to.
We know how much Klopp can react to this kind of issues. He did that when Arnold was injured. Van Dijk is out and all of that. Now this Joe Gomez,
Fabinho as well.
Fabinho is out too. Tsimikas too.
So he's back. I mean, he's gonna quest for Premier League. It doesn't have a back anymore. That's what it means.
Yes, that's what it means.
So Liverpool is backless right now.
And the 18-year-old Williams.
That's just before Fabio was out, he had to deploy him as the centre back. Now Fabio is injured, and now Joe Gomez is injured. So it means that Southgate is suffering. Club is suffering, and if you look at other clubs, I think I saw it this morning too. Nathan Ake, I think he's injured too.
Yeah, he's injured.
So Man
on
City
duty with Netherlands.
So Pep Guardiola is already furious.
He's furious.
Before now, and now it's going to get worse.
now, well, nobody expected COVID-19. The season finished late. We started again very close. So the congestion of fixtures,
fine-tuned properly.
Every week now, there's Champions League, there's Europa League, and all of that. So it's affecting these players. And maybe the board actually should have sat down and look at the calendar very well and see how these matches can be fixed, because this thing is affecting. They are doing business, but these players are suffering. The fans want to watch and enjoy the game, but when you look at your team and maybe half of your first 11 are out and you get beaten look at the season now, the way the season has started.
Okay, Eyemeko, he actually made a point here that it's like the coaches, the people, stakeholders are not together. I mean, I listened to Sheffield United coach when he was saying that 5 subs is out of the way. He's not in support of it now. What if all the because you have in France, Germany, and all that, some other countries, leagues, they're using 5 substitutes. They continue with it. But England, most of the coaches voted against it. So that's why the Premier League cannot go ahead and say we need to use 5 subs. If some of those coaches don't want 5 substitutions, because they're saying that it's going to favor the bigger clubs because they have bigger squad and everything. So Gareth Southgate is trying to point out, I mean, making a point here and saying that everyone needs to come together. If they don't, the injuries are going to continue piling up.
To buttress your point, Cecilia, just factor in what I'm about to say to what the questions he asked. Even David Moyes said that he voted against it initially. But the current situation, if he is told to vote again, he would support. I guess most of those coaches were seeing it from the angle that...
Well, recent, I'm talking about Sheffield United coach was just recent. He says, look, we say no to 5 subs.
Maybe he's one of the few.
That's it. But so if they can't come together, they're going to suffer.
Exactly.
Sheffield are at the bottom right now. I think I'm loving that since he doesn't want 5 subs. Okay. Let's talk about...
do you think they can reach an agreement quickly?
Well, if this continues, I think
they'll have to maybe vote again. See how many will be in support of it.
Because if a second vote comes, I think they're going to allow 5.
Hopefully they will. Okay, well, before we look at the papers, quickly about the friendly. we talked about earlier. France, I mean, we didn't expect France. It's an international friendly, yes. They're preparing for the bigger ones, the Nations League qualifiers and also Euros qualifiers. But then the fact that they lost to Finland, I mean, you look at that country, Finland, France, was the connection. And 21-year-old players, I mean, who are making their debut are the ones who actually scored the 2 goals. And, of course, the coach right now says he's having selection headache ahead of, you know, the next games you're going to be playing. Finland, let's hear from him.
I'm very satisfied with the win and the way we played. We knew that we're going to face a very tough opponent, the world champions. And, the players had to work very hard to get this result. We defended quite well and managed to score 2 fine goals. This victory gives us a lot of self-confidence. And in our preparation for the Euros, it was important to get some data, information, how we managed to play against world top teams like France, because we meet Belgium, Denmark and Russia in Euros. And of course, we have to analyze the game very carefully and try to get the useful data which we can use to improve our play. They both made their debut in the senior national team and they did very well. They played well, scored nice goals, and honestly I was a little bit surprised how they adapt to play at this level straight away, and it makes some problems for me to pick up the team in upcoming games.
Okay, well, a good one coming from the coach of Finland, Marko Kenava, having selection headache. It's good to hear that. France, I mean, they have all the arrays of stars. Not until they use a second string 11 and another Mbappe. Everybody.
Still France.
I mean,
and
everybody.
It's still top quality.
Top quality. Everyone played. Pogba, you know, Martial, you know, Griezmann.
Lilian son.
Olivier Giroud. Everyone.
Kante came in.
Yeah.
The coach is talking about selection headache. Well, good one, those guys. I mean, the goal scorers, the debutants, 21 years. I think it was a night for debutants because Portugal too had 2 debutants score for them.
Yeah.
And
they hammered Andorra.
Yes.
7
so
Ronaldo
for this match, I was surprised. It's football. I don't want you to attack me this time around, but I wasn't expecting Finland to win the match. Finland are over 90 places below France in the rankings. And, we didn't expect that. For the team, I think they were disciplined. They were able to absorb pressure. But now it's left to the coach to know how to train these guys.
Translate it.
Exactly. That's what is important.
Which is big. All right, let's just quickly take some tweets before we look at the papers if we have time. Lekon says, there will be no hidden space for Sierra Leone in Nigeria. We are winning 4 goals to nothing.
Wow. Okay,
and Atula Emmanuel wants to know the time. What time is 5 p.m.? That's what we know as at now, 5 p.m. And Nobleman is actually worried about the potential outbreak of COVID-19 because he watched some interviews where you have, you know, people without masks and everything. Don't worry, it's just happening. Dakpo Ilori says his first 11, he has Okoye, Seidu, Leon, Balogun, Trustekong, Taran Ebue, Chukwueze, Etebo, Iwobi, Ajayi, Iheanacho, and Osime. And 4-4-2 formation, that's what you're expecting. And he says Nigeria is beating Sierra Leone by 2 goals to nothing. And Bomber Boy, not Boy, we know, is expecting Super Eagles to come up with a 4-0 scoreline. 4-0 seems to be. And of course, Osazuwa Kingsley says he expects Super Eagles to win the match. The scoreline is what he will be talking about. Okay, I think that's much you can take.
That's much we can take. We're pressed for time, but let us just show you that we have Complete Sports, Sporting Sun, and Sporting Live. We may not be able to read all of this. Okay, Complete Sports, probably that's going to be the only paper we read. Eagles count bubbles with 23 players. Raw, why we must beat Sierra Leone home and away. Okay, so that's it on the papers. I want to thank you for your time. On the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully we'll do this again some other time.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So thank you for allowing us to be a part of your day today. Of course, we'll be here again to take you on a trip across the money spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Thanks for watching.